As you can see, there is a dog on the slide. Her name is Selma. Selma likes functional programming. This guy here is Selma's best friend Pate. He's an Irish soft-coated Wheaten Terrier and very good Java and JavaScript programmer indeed. Sometimes Pate gets to debug runtime errors such as undefined is not a function. Lately, no matter how much yummy rewards Pate is given, he does not seem to manage the software stack he's responsible for. Selma knows that anyone can write and maintain a small piece of code with any language, but maintaining larger code bases becomes a tough task. Pate is overwhelmed with the hierarchies of objects, classes, and properties, and he's having difficulties to sleep as the objects and classes are turning into nightmares. Once on a boat trip, Pate tells Selma about his problems. Selma gives her best friend a good advice. Okay, Selma, but how are you going to convince me about your thoughts? Pate, do you really want to repeat the return statements and parentheses everywhere? Do they really make the code easier to interpret? Pate, what would your doggy life be like without temporary variables? Have you even given it a thought? Pate, what do you think about looping? Is it really necessary? Could you have less nightmares if you did not need to think when I is actually equal to n? Pate, do you really enjoy writing those semicolons everywhere? Think what you could do with all the time that would be saved if there was no need to stick those semicolons everywhere. More time to enjoy barking at strangers. Not a bad deal, huh? Pate, do you really want to live your doggy life by stepping instructions and looking at the pointer moving down at the debugger window? Would you not rather just write the code and let the compiler do the work for you? Pate, pattern matching is a very powerful tool in the hands of any dog, even you. There is no such thing in your favorite language, Java. How about trying languages like Haskell or Scala? Pate, do you really fancy staring at the debugger window and trying to figure out the state of the thread you're currently executing? Why not just define the problem and write a declaration for that? Think about it. You could then use the time saved with less debugging with me. Pate, the way you write your business logic is not very expressive. You could write less and more simple code. Again, with the time saved, we could have more of those boat trips. Pate, how often do you think about the execution order of your statements? Let me tell you a secret. If you do it with a functional style, you don't need to think about the order of execution anymore. Less nightmares and a lot easier to interpret code. Pate, you told me that the most horrifying of your nightmares is the one where important objects become corrupted because several threads get to mutate the objects without much control. I am sure you would make a much happier dog by mastering monads. They have t-shirts for dogs too. You got a deal, Selma. I will get my act together and get in touch with the Ideal Learning guys. They know how to make even the most stubborn terriers learn functional programming from the ground up.